Welcome to this week's edition of Here Be Dragons, featuring the fabulous Neek. And this week, our epic guest star, Nippers. Welcome, welcome. I guess to kick us off for today's episode, I'd like to just sort of say, Nippers, what is your elevator pitch for your WoW stream, Twitter, etc. presence? Give us the Nippers elevator pitch.
Oh, Nippers elevator pitch. I haven't got any music to go with that. My stream is a comfy stream. I really just want to make a chilled environment. There is no toxicity. I'm far from the best player, so you watch me fail, you watch me succeed, but most importantly, you watch me hopefully having fun. And that's what WoW is for me. Escapism, fun.
And what's great is, I think on my stream, no one heard that because the sound channel wasn't working. But I'm sure Neek's got it for the podcast side of things.
I've got it recorded, don't worry.
So we're good. So what you're going to have to see is this is how we build viewership for the podcast. See, we cut out a little bit of the start so that everyone has to go and watch it on YouTube to know what you said. But I loved your elevator
It's all a
pitch.
bait. It's all a bait.
It is a massive bait.
As long as you're not asking me to repeat it, because I probably can't.
No. It was too good the first time to then say, repeat it now. So yeah, no, we'll go with the first take on that. So when did you start streaming and why WoW?
Well, WoW for me has been a constant for the last, since its inception really. So I was there for the launch of WoW. It's pretty much the only game I've stuck with for entirely. There's been a few gaps here and there, and I've dabbled in other games, but I've always been pulled back to WoW. Just love it. Streaming wise, I started dabbling in streaming probably about a year ago, just over a year. That was okay at first. Had a bit of a negative experience in that, put me off streaming, and moved away from it. Didn't really, just carried on playing WoW, and I thought, do you know what, I'll have another little go. And then I met fantastic people like yourself, Neek, Watchy, and others who've been very encouraging. So, and yeah, here I am.
So what made you take that initial first leap into recording and streaming? It's not the most obvious thing for most people to do.
Do you know, I watch a lot of Twitch. So when I play, I like having voices in my head, and that sounds all sorts of weird. But I don't like sitting in silence and just playing. I like to either have music on, I like to have Twitch on. And I remember when I first started getting into Twitch, I was trying to learn tanking, would you believe? So I was watching the likes of Towley, Sloot, to see if I could pick up any tips. And from there on, I discovered other people. And yeah, I just thought, I don't know. One day I thought, oh, how easy is it to set up? I was more into the technical side. How does this work? How does OBS work? How does it all work? And if someone asks me how does it work, I still haven't got a clue how it works. But I press a button, I go live, and I've got a bit better at it. And every now and again, I send messages to people and go help. But generally speaking, I like the technical side, and I thought I'll give it a go. I mean, I've streamed and I've had no viewers, and I've streamed and I had no viewers, and I've streamed and had no viewers, and it's just suddenly I'm not far from a massive streamer, but suddenly I've got 1 viewer, 2 viewer, and it's lovely. It's I've got really nice people that have regularly come in, and I get a nice warm feeling from it, to be honest. I'm sharing my experience, or sharing theirs as well via chat. We do things together. It's just, yeah, love it. So that's me at the moment.
You mentioned that you started and then took a break, and then sort of came back and gave it another go. What was the kind of the cause of the break? Because it is interesting being a growing streamer or a new streamer. It's a very unique experience, and I'm intrigued as to kind of what led to the break.
Probably there was a streamer that was giving me advice, shall we say, but let's say I don't know if her intentions were great. I don't know where, and I didn't like the way she, working behind the scenes, was treating people, and I didn't want to be surrounded by people. I was worried that, is this the norm what streams are like? Because that was my own first hand experience of a streamer, getting to know them away from the actual visible person that you see on stream. So I got to see behind the scenes, and I thought, don't like this at all. Yeah, and I thought, nah, I don't want to be part of this. And yeah, I took a break from it. Really, it wasn't anything major. It was just, it left me feeling a bit sad about it, and I thought, hopefully that's not every streamer. And as I've now discovered, it isn't. There's many great streamers out there who are, as they appear to be, friendly, helpful, not in it just for the bucks, shall we say.
Is anyone?
Yeah, wait, money's involved?
Where's this cash coming from?
For some, yeah, for some.
Yeah.
Run an ad, quick.
3 minutes an hour.
2p.
Yeah. So exciting. So I guess kind of what perhaps you've found, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you sort of come back and found more of a kind of a growing community in your stream that's kind of giving you, I guess, that kind of energy to keep going. Is that right? Do you want to expand on that a little?
Yeah, definitely. There's like it started. I mean, started with like yourselves really, mainly Neek, because I think it was the end of last expansion. I was healing on, I think, my priest and a chamois, and you needed a healer. I came along as an outsider to heal, and you made me feel welcome. And it's just going from there. Then from there, I fell into like the grips of Watchy and what he's created. Yeah, it's that community, the guild, us doing stuff together in like raids, Watchy with the Dungeon Dojo, and just generally, some of my team that I used to play a lot with, they sort of taken a break from WoW, so they come back sort of once a week, and we have a fun time. Like tonight, we're going to be doing a meet up and catch up. But as life moves on, people leave. But I found another community, if you like, to be part of, because WoW it's a multiplayer, isn't it? You don't play it to be alone, which is some people do, but I don't. I like getting to know people. I like getting to play with other people. So yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's very easy to sort of not engage with people in the game, and I think a lot of players do come into it and don't treat it as a multiplayer social game. They treat it much the queue for dungeons. When they're leveling, they level solo, and then they get to end game. They find it quite difficult because there is no, you've not got that background of learning to be social with people, and there's no obvious tools to make it easy for those people to step into social content.
That's it. I mean, before I was part of like the dungeon community, Dungeon Dojo community, I was in like a Scared of Dungeons community that's still active now, and they're very much similar into what she's created that again, and I so play with people from there. Not so much nowadays because obviously people have moved on. I've moved on, but they're still active, and it's nice to have like pockets of people you can go into and catch up with and do things together. Because I mean, I've been there where I've been in a guild, we've done an expansion, we've done the raids, we've finished the raids, and all of a sudden, oh, where is everyone? I've logged on and there's like 3 of us online if you're lucky, and it's like, okay, I'm a bit lonely now. What happens now?
Yeah,
that is something that is very difficult to keep.
Yeah,
the post farm, the patch isn't out for another couple of months to keep the guild active, so that when new thing comes in, everyone slots back in easily. Because often there isn't much to do. Well, previously in the current state of the game, there isn't much to do. Patches were long, so
Yeah,
you had people leave the game, and that's natural to leave the game.
yeah,
But for those who want to stay, you've got to keep something going.
Mm.
I did whatever I could to keep the guild going in those quiet times. I was always, if people wanted to do it, there was always a raid going up. Even if people just wanted to run through alts, just
yeah,
give people the option to do things socially as much as they can, and then that's how initially we met yourself, because we thought we're
yeah,
going to do these raids at the end of the expansion, but we're a few healers short, so let's reach out and
yeah.
find new people.
And it's the community that also that leads into the community as well, doesn't it? You know,
Yes.
your guild branches out, and then you're
It's about
taking
networks and networking with people, both in the game and in content creation. It's about meeting new people, learning those people, and then who they know, and you just grow your base from networking. So it's all important. It all ties together.
that makes it
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? That's the part of it that kind of makes it more enjoyable, more accessible. And you were talking about these kind of great communities that pop up around the concept of I don't want to go into a random dungeon or a pug and have a shit experience.
Yeah,
You know, that's what I think
we've
most
all
people
been there, haven't we?
yeah,
Yeah,
right. And I was going to kind of ask, you know, as as someone that's been playing for a long time, and I think, you know, I'm in that same space. Do you sometimes go into those kind of pug environments because you've done it before and you know what it's going to be like, but think maybe or witness people experiencing this really high bar to accessing dungeon content because of the behavior in those groups?
certainly nowadays I try and avoid pugging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's I don't need a toxicity to be honest. Who needs grief in their life? No one.
Yeah.
I'm fairly comfortable with my. I mean, I play healers, you know, as my primary character as a healer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fairly comfortable about what level I can be at. I still get nervous and anxious about it, because in the back of my mind is I don't want to let other people down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a self thing.
No,
Probably never be able to.
that's
That's
many
a
people. That's me.
player thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people are like that, I think.
It's always in the back of my head. I've gone, are you good enough? Are you good enough? And you know, it's in a pug. You are. If something goes wrong, you're going to be called out on it. Someone's going to be mean, nasty, and just plain ignorant sometimes, because you know that's the way people are. They're quick keyboard warriors, quick to fire off a whisper and tell you your crap or whatever. Why are you doing this? So I mean, I have done it because I wanted to do a particular key because I wanted my points towards my KSM or something like that, you know. But I'd rather not, if that makes sense. I'd rather play with players that I know, and if I mess up or they mess up, we know that. Oh, so what? You know, if need be, we'll do another key.
I think the issue with pugging is everyone thinks of it's the toxicity, it's the levers, it's the negativity, it's flaming. I think what it really is there's no room for learning.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake,
yeah,
and it wipes the group, and then the tank leaves,
Yeah.
you can't improve on that. You can't go, let's go again back and do something slightly different.
I mean, on the flip side, but this sadly isn't very often, I have been in pugs and they've been great, as in something's gone wrong and people said, oh, don't worry about it, don't do that next time, do this. And we've moved past that and gone to the next stage, and it's been good. I've met some really nice players, but I would say that is in a minority.
The exception to the rule.
That is the exception. Sadly, that is the exception.
Somebody in the chat has just said that technically even the dojo is still pugging.
True.
It's that you've gone in there with the understanding that everyone you pug with in the dojo or these other communities has agreed that they're going to leave that toxic behaviour behind at the door. And you might wipe and you might struggle. You might be in there for 2 hours in a really bad key, but you've decided that we're not going to resort to the worst of human nature.
You just remind me of my Halls of Valor key that we did. And what I can say is...
Nippers, you're still there. This is a dream.
Yeah.
We did it.
I haven't left yet.
2 hours, 17 minutes later.
But you finished it.
We finished it. And you know what? I mean, we all said at the end of it, yeah, it was long and it was way too long, but we all had a giggle doing it. You know, it's one of those things, and it's like, okay, perhaps we've learned from this.
Yeah. I mean, some of that's the friction of gaming, though, right? I think, you know, if you won every time and there weren't moments of frustration, it wouldn't feel good when you did win.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult balance. I think it's just sometimes unpleasant to experience that friction with people who don't have the same appreciation for the friction in the game, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, friction will be there because I mean, like last night we did a raid and I failed miserably at one of the mechanics, and I was so angry with myself.
You're still obsessed with it, I can tell.
I know, because do you know, I literally had said, "Don't walk into the beam." Just prior to doing it, bang, walk into the beam, and I was angry at myself. No one else, but angry at myself. And if you mistake, own it. It's not anyone else's fault if you walk into a beam, is it? It's not like the priest has pulled you or the evoker's picked you up and put you there. It's oh no.
That happened to me once. I got pulled by an evoker.
Yeah, but you probably deserved it, didn't you?
It's when an evoker like saves you, or a priest yoinks you out or something. You're just like, oh, I love you. Thank you so much. So I wanted to kind of ask, because I think we're in an interesting, certainly us three are in an interesting space in the gaming world, in the sense that I suspect all three of us can remember the very first gaming kind of computers, or the very first computers, or possibly even just slightly pre that for some of us, myself included. So we've like gone on this kind of interesting journey, and I wanted to ask you, Nippers, like when you first started playing Warcraft years and years and years ago, I'm gonna guess, like me, your life was quite different. So what has changed for you in terms of how you play Warcraft from when you first, you know, got the game to where we are kind of now in 2023?
Oh, well, I've got broadband.
Yeah, well, thank God for broadband.
I mean, I'm seriously trying to think if I had broadband when it came out, or whether I still ISDN lines.
Oh, I think it was ISDN lines.
Because where I live is quite a small village, and we didn't have broadband for ages until I got onto the campaign at the time and got it installed for the village.
Nice.
Me and a friend. So I had ISDN at home, and then broadband, and started the WoW journey. Then I played Ultima Online, for anyone that's old enough to remember that. That was my first dabble in a online multiplayer, and to this day, I love that game. It you know, I've got fond memories of it. If you think crafting was complicated and hard work now, you've got nothing on Ultima. I literally spent months trying to become a master at blacksmithing, and I mean months. But the sense of achievement
take longer then, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then I played like Call of Duties and stuff like that. But WoW was the one for me. Friends that I met for Ultima, they started WoW and they got me into it. I said, have a look at this. So yeah, so journey from that, 18 years. What's hell's happened? Got a child, but he came along much later. He's 9 now. So yeah, work, got busier, got promoted in that time, got more responsibilities. You try to think what happens in 18 years.
Has that changed how you experience the game?
To a degree, being a dad, and now he's become more aware of gaming. he's at an age now where he's like playing his Roblox and Minecraft and FIFA. He's interested in gaming, and to be honest, he's my number one Twitch fan. And sometimes he sets the goals for me, like my followers' goals. He's like said, right, how about this number, Dad? How about this number? And I get a real buzz from seeing his little face when he sees how many followers I've got, and he's going, oh, you've got your target, and he gets really excited from it. I think he would quite happily start playing WoW, but we're not letting that happen. Not just yet.
I think the complexity level of WoW is deceptive. I think it looks, kind of art style and cartoony and engaging for any age group really. And then you start playing it, and the complexity is there's a lot of reading to be done and a lot of correct order on.
I also think I think retro was it's too slow for a 9-year-old these days.
He does like, I mean, Borealis, the harbour area. He loved playing on my druid in that area, so he'd sit with me. You'd either sit on my lap and just sit with a keyboard and mouse and just shapeshift. So you go bird form and then just drop in the water and then swim around and back into the bird. And then you go up to where the low level critters were and just moonfire them. That he enjoyed that.
Busy day, moonfiring critters.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. I tried to get him to do the fishing so I didn't have to, but
I've tried that. That doesn't work. It's too boring. It's not Fortnite.
Look, you're a druid. You just need to get him doing your herbing. Fine.
Yeah.
Come back.
Actually, you're right.
What have you done today, son? I've earned 100k gold. Well done, son.
That'd be nice.
That'd be great.
I can buy one spark.
Yeah.
Everything's so expensive at the moment, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, I thought I went into this expansion with a decent amount of money behind me, thinking things would be expensive, but wow. Literally, wow.
Burning through the gold.
I lost a lot of money at the start. I'm kind of clawing it back slowly now.
Yeah.
There's money to be made, but you have to be. You have to play very
late
keen.
to these things. And I'm always too late to these money-making schemes. I never find out when it's too late.
I made most of my money in BFA when I was farming for the long boy, and I was on it. I was checking for the shuffles, so you can make things in one thing and then destroy it and sell them enchanted materials for profit. I had macros. I was doing all sorts of TSM macro strings and cancel crafting. It was lockdown, by the way. There was nothing else to do. I was on furlough. I just played all the time.
Through lockdown, I was working the whole time.
No, I was one of those lazy people who just took the money and played WoW. It's brilliant.
Made furlough gold. I like it.
Got me on a long boy.
Yeah, why not?
Fair play.
Why not?
Yeah, but then Shadowlands lost a lot of money trying to catch up on that. And this one, I took the wrong professions to make gold at the start, and after that, it was too late.
I mean, I'm limited time-wise. I mean, I say limited time-wise. I choose to spend my time doing other things than making gold, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I have enough time. I could spend 4 hours a night if I wanted to go farming, but I'm up to keys. Or
that's why I love the current crafting system. I know it's got its issues. It is a legitimate endgame for a certain type of player that wasn't there before.
It's complex enough.
People can sit there and just craft, do all the different things they need to craft. They can do it on multiple alts to have a little factory system going, and that's all they do, and that's great for them. Because before, professions were like you did it the first week of a profession, you maxed it out, and you never looked at it again. That was it. It was done.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I maxed out professions like previously, and that's it. I just maxed them out for my own use and didn't say anything really.
Although, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a little thing in the coming patch. I don't really know if it's obtainable currently, but if you have crafted certain items in the past for past sets, you get a title or achievement.
Oh, yeah. So they're adding some previous sets, aren't they? With Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know whether it's a case of you can get that now by going back and farming those patterns, or whether it's something like you farmed it at the time as a
And you
reward
get
for
it.
being there.
I think
That'd be
they're
quite
adding
cool.
it back in as like transmog sets. You can recollect the recipes
The
and
achievement
craft.
titles say something to the effect of before the battle of X or before the raid of X. So it's like if you've achieved before that thing, that implies it's end-gated, maybe? I don't know, it's all a bit data mined and
Yeah, I thought they were coming back, but I could be wrong. I'd understood that they were coming back as sets for
I normally find out with this stuff way too late.
yeah, like crafting transmog. I thought that's where that was headed, to try and make older crafts more relevant. But I'm not sure. That's an interesting one.
So something else the game's brought in, isn't it?
This is the problem with being a young gamer like myself. Only played since BFA. We miss out on all these old things. I'll never have that.
True.
I'll never have the
I was there the
zebra.
first time.
I'll never have the Cinderman
the zebra.
Charger.
I don't think I got that actually. That is one I missed. I was on a break.
It's you. I've got you. You're the fault. I'm trying to get mounts now.
Oh, sorry about that.
And I'm the fault.
Those
Cap's trying to get mounts.
Yeah.
Do you know, I haven't got one yet. All the farming, not one yet.
You'll get one eventually.
Yeah, right.
I love that we were all meant to get the trading post one, and then half of us didn't get it. I haven't been back to check the trading post. That's how little time I have in game at the moment. But I need to get back and check the trading post.
You do have Heartbreaker, so
I do have the Heartbreaker. So I no love fest for me this year. I was straight in, got it already. Thanks very much. See you again
I need
next
to
year.
log in for my daily today.
Get it done.
So
Nippers, what's so far in the history of WoW, because you've seen it all, what's been your favorite expansion? Tell us a little bit about that. Tough question right now.
Yeah. Ice Crown. So that's
the Wrath.
Wrath. And I think that is not necessarily because the expansion was great. It was, I enjoyed it, but it also was good for me personally because I was playing with really, really nice people. And that made it, that added that little to it. It was like good raid, good fun. It was a big raid. The guild I was in at the time, it just all worked, even to the degree we met socially outside of WoW, where to get together, it was just that is probably up there with my best sort of time in WoW, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, killing him at the end was always good, and getting there, it took a bit of time.
Wish they had a skip for that though. Every week I go back from Invincible, I'm like, oh,
not really.
This
I've
again.
done it once, yeah. Just give me the horse.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, I'd be happy just to buy it, put it in the game. I'll buy a WoW token. Just give it to me. Thank you. I'm done.
Yeah. So that was that's been. I think that was the most enjoyable so far.
I think any expansion, anything you do with friends is always going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
People dislike Shadowlands for many reasons, but I enjoyed a lot of it because of who I was playing with at the time.
Yeah.
The reason I hated 9.1 so much is because I wasn't playing with anybody at the time. I was between guilds, and it was not a fun time. And as soon as you find the right guild, it works and everything becomes better, even when the content is lacking or quite good.
Yeah. Strangely, a lot of people love Mist of Pandaria.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me was my lowest point of WoW.
I was so here for the pandas. I was here for the pandas and the mystery and the green. It was very kind of lush and green all over the place.
I think artistically it was beautiful, stunning. But I think that also, for me, it dipped in terms of the guild. People moved on, and it wasn't what it was, and it went from to it's a bit flat.
I think I took a break towards the end of that one. I mean, I raided like the first couple of raids, but I think I'd gone horde at that point, which was clearly my first mistake. But I did find, I found a really good guild, some really lovely folks in there that I still occasionally might chat to, you know, they're on my friends list sort of thing. But I don't really remember kind of what happened. I think the guild kind of like slowed down a little bit in a raid, progressing a raid. I swapped from hunter to shaman to start healing, and that's when I was kind of like, I'm just going to go back to the alliance. I miss Stormwind. To be honest, I really love
Yeah,
Stormwind, and now of course I basically exclusively play gnomes when I can. So it's yeah, I sort of rolled on back to the alliance around that time. But I really enjoyed the way it started, and the, you know, finding a mysterious island and going off and chasing Anduin around, and Anduin's kind of story of growing up and becoming a man.
yeah,
All that kind of stuff really resonated for me at the time, I think. So I enjoyed that one for some reason. But you know, to Neek's point, if you're not playing with other people, it's usually
yeah,
pretty solitary, pretty sad as a game.
yeah. And I think the other thing that used to it was like you had to do the dailies. I think it was that where you had to go and plant and get your vegetables out and all that for your cook.
Oh, I
My
love
best
See,
friends, my best friends, the
all my
you
Tillers.
love
friends.
oh
I love the Tillers.
Oh, they're my
no,
favorite. And you
no,
could
it's
sell the
like
stuff on the
come
auction
on,
house. It's like
oh
free money.
yeah, but I was like, oh right, hang on, I've been at work. Oh right, I've got to down. I've got. It felt like work. It felt like, hang on, I've been at
It
work.
was
Now I've got
work,
to. Yeah, hang
but it
on, I
was
don't.
great. I'd
No.
bring that back in a
D-
heartbeat.
d-
If they were like,
Oh,
we're going to give you player housing, but every
oh
player
well, that's
house is going
different.
to have a little plot of land on which
They
you can
sort of did, didn't
grow
they?
That's what they did.
Housing.
whatever.
According
That's
to
basically what it was.
according to the Preach interview with Theon, the Tillers farm became the Garrison farms.
Yeah,
So
The
kind of
garrison was player housing, but not quite
but not
as we
quite.
wanted it.
Yeah, I think
I
people
mean,
wanted
when I
an
had,
actual house,
yeah, I mean, well,
not
that's the
a.
thing. When I played Ultima Online, we you could have a house,
Mm-hmm.
you could have a keep, and if you're
Yep.
really lucky and like me, who stayed up all
Sure.
night,
Well,
who
when
stayed
you
up all
could, right?
night, and yeah, exactly, and got my plot sorted for castle, yay!
Love it.
But and he decorated it the way you wanted it. It was superb. I mean, I would love for them to bring something like that in, but
Couldn't you have a secret base in City of Heroes as well? I feel like a lot of early games did player housing in some way, shape, or form, and it's and perhaps
yeah,
Warcraft seemed to have made a decision not to have done that over the years
well,
in a way that's quite what the player base would connect with.
wasn't there
only
rumours that there were one in in the pre-Cata Stormwind? There's like a portal that leads nowhere, and it was always rumoured to be an
Yes,
undeveloped
didn't they make
housing
that?
district.
Yeah, well, was it Housing Tree? I feel like there's another bank at the back of Stormwind now, and I feel like that used to be like an empty space. I feel like that was going to be a guild hall or something. I don't know. I've got some very vague memories from a long time ago. I'm sort of digging around in the past now, so that's probably all complete made-uppy bullshit. But that's
my only
kind of
fear
the vibe I've got.
with player housing is that you can go to Stormwind and there are other players there, and you can have a chit chat. You can, sometimes you can have a laugh. But if you like role playing, you can do that. If you have player housing, is everyone just going to stay in the house and
Well,
you lose that?
I mean, that's what they fear, but I
I mean,
think
that's what happened with WoD.
it's what happened with WoD.
Yeah,
See, I think it'll never happen because I don't think there's no desire for it. But if they ever got round to a classic Warlords, if they got it so your garrison had no bank, no auction house, no profession stuff, and it was just a fancy Warlord house, and everyone had to go to Shatrath or some other gathering place, would that make the game feel different in people's opinions? Because it's always been the idea's always been that
yeah.
Garrison's killed the social aspect. If they were ever to remake it as a classic version, if you stripped out those aspects, people really interact in the same way?
No.
Or is it just a bad
That's how I try
expansion?
it.
I mean, I feel like what we really need is like instanced houses in places like Stormwind, where there's like, I don't know, 20 different houses and they're all instances. So you can buy one of the 20 houses, whichever one suits your size, budget, design, aesthetic, etc.
Yeah.
And then you sort of pop in and out of the houses to the crafting benches to make stuff for your house and to the auction house and stuff. So your house is kind of, maybe got some stuff in it, maybe current crafting related, but to make anything for your house, there's stuff going on around the city, that because that kind of is what they did in I'm not going to remember the name of the game now, New World.
Yeah.
And the cities or the villages felt like they were buzzing and people were in and out of their houses, and you could sort of see each house had like a point system. So the best decorated based on some sort of point scoring thing each week would be the house that you could see. So you could sort of, other players could walk past the the fence, the white picket fence, and look in, and that's the decor they would see, that person's, because they'd scored high that week, and everybody else's was hidden behind a kind of an instance. I think that's really cool, but I just don't know if WoW's tech could do something like that. But that's kind of how I kind of imagine it.
I imagine if whatever to do was to do it currently, it would be something similar to. I'm thinking back to like Skyrim, Oblivion type model where it's a door, you click on the door, and it's a portal to a completely separate area, but it's just like a blank room that you fill with things. I think technical aspects is they can't let you place things down. I think that's what the ultimate problem is with the engine. You can't move a chair and put a chair in a position of chair. I think that's the issue.
Right. So it would take significant engine change to.
Yeah, so you could make a room and you could have it so it's like you kill a boss and suddenly a thing would appear on the wall showing the boss's head. That you could do. But the idea of moving and placing, I think.
That's Skip's head.
Yeah, but if you want to move a chair or put like a sword rack on top of a shelf, I think that's where the engine struggles and can't do it currently.
Right. Interesting.
But
I don't know.
But I do find it interesting. You look at Valdrakken, and there's lots of pointlessly accessible houses. There's lots of little nooks and crannies where you walk in, and there's no reason to walk in there.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And I'm wondering if maybe I'm just like
nice little area.
tin hat theory. Is it prepping the zone, the city for the future?
Possibly. I mean, if you were going to design that way, it makes sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You know that it's eventually you're going to need the space, so you might as well design.
If they're designing on a longer term basis now, a longer term themes and expansion plots, that putting things which will be useful now
makes me excited to see what's coming.
Yeah. Same. So how have you found Dragonflight? Talking about kind of Valdrakken, what's been your Dragonflight experiences? I'm always interested to people that have kind of played the game for a long time. You've experienced lots of different launches. You've experienced the ones that go wrong, the ones that go right. Lots of different themes, villains, good villains, bad villains, and Dragonflight, I think, is a bit of a change in direction. So what's been your experience of it so far?
Well, I did something very alien to me. And as much as I've always played Alliance, and this time I went Horde. Yeah, wait for it. And I went for Horde, little dragon. I wanted to play a dragon. I did enjoy it initially, and I say initially. I cannot stand Ogrimmar. I'm sorry.
That's horrible, isn't it?
I get lost. I get frustrated because I can't find anything, and I think it's ugly.
Same.
And
sorry, Horde.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Hordies. I did sort of enjoy the healing on the dragon, but not as much as I enjoy the healing on all the other classes that I've played. So the shaman, the priest, the druid, So I went back to Alliance, and I went back to Madrid.
So
That's what we like to hear.
I didn't play at the start of Legion because I'm a Zoomer. It feels like the uptake of Evokers is lower than I expected it would be. I thought more people would play Evokers. I was
Yeah,
wondering,
same.
how does that compare to the Demon Hunters of Legion?
I mean, I played the Demon Hunter for a little bit, not only just to mess around with, not seriously. I mean, I liked it. The dragon and for me, the dragon and the Demon Hunter are quite similar with the flying bits and basically double. That there was similarities there. The thing that got me is whereas a druid I can stand quite away, with the priest I can stand away quite. I can almost stand out of trouble. Same with all the other healing classes, except perhaps Holy Pally, which I've never really dabbled in, and even the monk. But this one sort of you're not quite far enough out of danger that you're dipping your toes into danger quite often, and you come unstuck. Or is that just me?
No, it's what
It's
put me off
style.
initially was the range, and I was like, I feel too close all times, but I don't feel like on the DPS side they've got that swipe, and it's got a range of like 25 yards, but because of the animation, I feel like I need to be really close up. So I find myself moving close to the boss. I need to be, and the range kind of put me off. I'm leveling one now. I will gear it up eventually, but yeah, I wasn't sold on it based on my beta.
Yeah,
experience.
I mean, I didn't have beta access, unfortunately. So it
I
was
was just
straight.
lucky.
It was very squishy at first. That's what I would say. But they tweaked that, and it was better to play on beta after the tweaking by an order of magnitude.
I mean, I did enjoy leveling, and I did enjoy the bits and pieces I did do on it, but it didn't grab me as much as the other characters have. So yeah, I switched away from it as a main, and it was interesting for me to see, like, from the horde side of things, like Ogrimmar and stuff like that. I know I was only there a little bit, but it was interesting, and it sort of confirmed that I'm Alliance, I think.
Yeah,
True blue.
That's what my horde experience did for me as well. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Then I couldn't find the thing, and then I was like, God, this is just so ugly, and it's aesthetics really for me. And when I came back to Alliance, I was like, oh yeah, I've come home. Feels right.
I can't remember who tweeted it. Someone tweeted quite recently if there's any place you could go and build a house or something like that in WoW. And for me, it's the original Nagrand. I don't know if you can remember that.
I can.
It was green. You had floating islands, and that for me.
First expansion with flying as well.
Yeah, you had Nesset telling you to go and kill everything in sight. Bless him. And I thought, actually, on one of those islands, floating around, make a house. Perfect.
That'd be lovely. I think it's Elwyn Forest for me. If I was going to go live somewhere, nice little housing community in Elwyn Forest. That would be great.
Meanwhile, I can't decide between Borealis or Gilneas. I'm just.
Oh yeah.
I love
take back Gilneas. Bring it back.
I just love that semi pseudo Victorian style housing.
Yeah.
Same. It's cute. It's really, really
One
cute.
day Gilneas will be a city again. One day.
I wanted to do a city or town, like a Bavarian theme, like an Alps theme. That'd be nice. I'd quite happily live there.
Snowy and in the mountains, but a big sort of city style.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm here for that. Let's do that. So, because obviously you predominantly play healers. What's your favorite healing class? Do you have a favorite, or do you just love them?
I like them all. I mean, the ones I've played, I like the druid because you can almost do everything with druid. Whether it's healing, you can always switch to DPS. Well, if you're good at it. Tanking. Quite like the tanking on the bear, I have to say. I just need to just be more courageous and actually just get on and do some tanking. But I like the priest. Do miss playing on my priest a little bit, I have to say.
Holy or disc?
Both.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
In going back to like Lich King days, I was disc. Loved it. Popping off bubbles everywhere. Loved it. It's obviously a bit more complicated now.
Yeah.
I have just been dabbling in the priest a little bit, but I must stop. I must stop because it will come to no good, because it means that's just another character, and it's another character, and
Yeah.
Can me and
I
Cap
must step away.
Can me and try to convert you to the one true healer of Resto Shaman?
Been there. Loved my
Love
resto.
it. Splashing in the
So
water.
good. Yeah,
But the thing was,
splashy.
splish water, and that. Do you know what? I was druid, and then I got a bit bored of the graphics. Is that terrible to say?
No, I don't like the sound effects on Druid either.
And I went to. I love the healing, the water aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I swapped to Shaman, and I really enjoyed my Shaman, and I played it quite a bit. And then I thought, well, I like the druid as well. I like the priest, so I went to priest for a bit. It's just I'm a nightmare for it, to be honest. I know. Well, I'll stick with one and I'll do it, and I'll get it reasonably geared, and then I'll go, oh, I fancy having a go on that now. So that's why I said it will come to no good if I level a priest.
Yeah.
So
getting alts out of the alt cupboard for me, I call it the alt cupboard, but it's just where you push the elite and they go and live there for a while. It just ruins my mains gameplay.
I'm honestly surprised at myself this specs back, in that Cap's probably got more alts than I have at the moment.
That's shocking.
I've got
lots.
3.
I'm not using
I've
them.
got the Warlock, the Mage, the Shaman. That's it.
I think the Hunter's next. He's 62.
Yes.
And he's good to go.
Well, go Gadget Hunter.
I think he's going to go. He's going to be the one that's going to level up next, because
Hunter's great.
The thing is with that, I can't be tempted to go into healer mode. I can't be tempted to go into tank mode, because it's Hunter, and Hunters just do DPS. I say just, but you know what I mean. There's no distraction.
You could be tempted to go Stick Hunter.
No.
Last year was Year of the Spear. It'll happen again.
It's over. It's over. It's the first time and the only time it's happened in the entire
to me,
entire history of Warcraft.
You've either got to have a beast, or you've got to have just a bow.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a bow, admittedly.
Beast and a boingy stick. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know. So yes. So we've talked a little bit about kind of WoW and WoW over the years and stuff. I obviously wanted to kind of ask you, as somebody that's kind of like growing a community from scratch in the Twitch space, have you found having kind of all of those years of experience of gaming useful, or do you find that Twitch is because a lot of people will say Twitch is a space for young people? Have you experienced any of that kind of vibe in the Twitch space at all?
I think I don't know the demographic of my viewers. I know some of them just from conversations we've had. Probably a little bit younger than me, and there's one or two I would say probably more than half my age. So I don't really know. I don't know whether playing that long has given me a better viewership. I don't think I'm attracting anyone because I'm older or younger, but I'd like to think that perhaps older players like myself, and I'm not ancient, but probably an older side of the demographic that's playing, and I'd like to think perhaps if they see my mug on Twitch, they'll go, "Oh, hang on a minute, he looks similar age to me. Let's just pop in and have a look what that's all about," because I don't know many people of my age that play. I think life for a lot of us has got very busy, and I'm very fortunate in as much as I have got the time to play in evenings. Not every evening, obviously, but I have an understanding wife, and the child, he's doing his own thing, and he pops in and, "What are you doing, Dad?" "Oh, okay, I'm going to go watch football," or, "I'm playing Minecraft. Can I watch you?" I mean, he'll often sit next to me on a chair or he'll sit in the house watching me. So that's quite cool. But,
so, because it's interesting, isn't it? So, I mean, I guess when you think about our sort of age bracket, if you like, collectively. If you would put us in a kind of, we're in a similar range. I
I've got
guess
5 weeks. I'm still young.
enjoy them while they last. I guess it's kind of a time when a lot of my game, I was the gamer and the geek, and I wasn't surrounded by people of my age that did game. And I kind of wonder whether we're still in that kind of place, like that those of us that started gaming early adopters, got into it young and have carried it on through, we're still kind of few and far between in our own demographic. But it seems nowadays that loads gaming's super accessible. It's on your mobile phone, it's on a Switch, it's on a console, it's on your desk, it's on your work laptop if you're being naughty. But it's really, really accessible for a really kind of broad range of folks. Do you think maybe that's something to do with it? What are your kind of thoughts on, did all of your mates game when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of my mates, like, we played console. I mean, my friend, when I was sort of a teenager, he had like the was it a Mega Drive? Do you remember that one?
Oh
I
yes.
do.
Yeah, so he had that, and we used to play on that quite a bit. I didn't have. I had a Nintendo, the old Nintendo 60. Was it Nintendo 64? No. What was it called? Well, the cassettes you drop them in and push it down. The original
Spectrum?
No, I mean it had a
Spectrum
Spectrum,
ZX?
but I was way
Yeah.
before
The
that.
NES.
Yeah, NES, I
Oh,
think,
the
with
NES was
Mario.
like a tape, wasn't it, with a little
It's like a
cassette kind of
disc, wasn't
loader
it?
thing.
Yeah. So I had that. That was probably it for teenage years, and then we were lucky. My dad, I blame my dad for this. Actually, you can take. I'm thinking about it. It's Dad's fault. He bought us a computer at home, and it was
Blame parents. So
blame
did mine.
parents, and it was like what was all singing or dancing. I don't know what it stands for, but I remember him saying it's a 386, whatever that was, and that apparently was all singing or dancing. And I remember him and me playing golf on it, and it was fun. I mean, it was so many discs. I can't remember. It's like 20. It seemed like the 20 floppy disks to put this bloody thing in.
Yeah.
And then it just grew on there, and then it became a better PC, and we got football manager, that sort of game, and then got Doom.
Oh,
I mean,
Doom.
Doom
That's so good.
Yeah, and
Better than that, we had the shareware Doom, which was basically 2 levels, and you played it to death. That was just me.
yeah,
Over and over.
I never owned Doom, but I played those 2 levels every day for like months.
But nowadays, like, I think when I look at my boy now, he's got access to mum's mobile phone. He's playing on that. He's got my old computer, so he's playing like Roblox and Minecraft on that, and he's got access to a PlayStation that he plays FIFA on with me, and gives me a hard game, actually, to be fair. So I think access to computers and playing for lots of people has become a lot easier. Because, like you say, a lot of people have got mobile phones, so okay, they might not be playing well, but they'll be playing some sort of game on it.
And more than that, it's cool to play games. Like even as kids, if you were into computers and gaming other than Sonic and Mario, you were like, oh god, he's a nerd.
Yeah.
And now they all play Minecraft, they all play Roblox and these other games and Fortnite. That's just what kids do. So there's no negativity regarding it. So they'll grow and they'll progress and they'll be on to the next set of games and all these things. And there'll be no.
Where we used to be called nerds, we're now, well, everyone is a nerd to a degree.
Yeah.
How many times you see people playing, what was it a couple of years ago? It was Farmville. Now it's something. I've never got into mobile gaming, but
same. Never felt like the right place to game for me.
Certainly, I see colleagues on their phone and they're like constantly playing Wordle, or they're playing moving these stars around, which is just another version of Tetris, really. But
it's like if you went back to like 10-year-old me and said, biggest franchise of movies in the world, Marvel. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You see people nowadays, like normal people, like, oh, I love Iron Man. I'm like, you would have beaten the shit out of me at that age for liking Iron Man and things like that.
Yeah.
When did this
Have you
become
Wasn't
cool?
allowed to like Iron Man when I was a kid. Yeah, he sort of
Yeah.
somewhere became cool. Now, I'm conscious that we don't want to take up too much of your time because you've got to, I know you've got things to get on with, but I just wanted to kind of ask one more question before we let you tell us where you can be found all across the internet. Do that. Get ready to advertise yourself like you've never advertised yourself before. However, the last thing I wanted to kind of ask was just in terms of talking about gaming and how it's so much bigger now and so these different types of games and mobile games and console games and things like that. Do you think that Warcraft itself, in the format of World of Warcraft, has a long future, or do you think that the kind of the generations, like your kid and my kid and other folks, sort of younger children, are growing up with games that are so quick, so instant, so quick gratification? Do these kind of longer form storytelling games have a place? What are your thoughts on that? And will Warcraft succeed?
I honestly hope it does, and I hope it's here for many years to come because I love it still after all this time, and there's something to be said about not getting instant gratification. Life is not like that. You can't step out and become an MD of a company just because you want to. You have to work at it to get to that role, that position. And a lot of things in World of Warcraft are like that. You can't just get there. You can't just become a top class raider and kill everything on mythic or heroic or whatever. You have to put a little bit of time in. There is that sense of achievement when you get there and get that kill. I still find I'll be one whooping down a microphone at you when we do get Razzie down. I'll be definitely one of those. I think the danger is people want that instant. I want that instant gratification, and pay to win and all that sort of stuff. But I think Warcraft's going to be around. I think whether they'll eventually relaunch it with a more up to date engine, that could be something. Because I do think sometimes technology may be holding it back. But I think that the premise of a multiplayer online thing is still there. Nothing's come along and beaten it yet. There's still a good, as far as I know, there's still a good amount of people supporting it. It's just whether it can continue, which I think it can. I think the thing is that people are playing it now in their 20s. Well, probably they may take a break from it when things happen in their life, but they'll probably come back to it. They'll give it a couple of years off. Something happens that something in their life, career happens. They'll need to concentrate on that bit, and then actually I've got a bit of time now. I'll go back to that. I really enjoy that. See what's going on in that. I think I certainly did that. I mean, I took a not massive break, but I certainly had a few months off when things got busy, and I was like, I miss it. I'll go back to it. So yeah. Whereas everyone, you can pick up Call of Duty, like Call of Duty games, you can pick them up anytime, can't you? And just carry on where you left off, and you're going to be about where you were skill wise. You're not going to get too rusty on Call of Duty. I think there's, that's a pay. I think you could spend a lot of money on Call of Duty, from what I understand, and battle passes and stuff. I just hope WoW doesn't go down the same route.
You only have to look at the success of Final Fantasy and just know that there is an appetite for long form storytelling.
Yeah. Especially if it's a good story. That's the key. You've got to have good writers.
I think things will change and people will move on, but having WoW's legacy will make it be one of the longest ones to last.
Yeah.
Because people will always have that fondness. Even many years after they've stopped playing themselves, they'll always think, "Oh, I remember that game. I enjoyed it when I played it," and they'll always come back for a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of these games. You take your time away, and then certainly for me, it's like, I want to come back to it. I want to have a game. It's like, even if I have a couple of days off and I've been at work, I was like, I really want to get on. I'm missing out. My guild are raiding and I'm at work. It's that sort of. If I can't play, it's like it's not, I don't want to say as strong as a drug, but it almost is.
The pull.
The pull
Fuck
of
you in
WoW
all the
is
time.
it is quite strong, you know, and you. I mean, I understand why people set time limits they can play. I know certainly people have spent way too much time on it, and
I don't know who you're talking about.
No one quits WoW. They just take longer and longer breaks.
that's
That is-
it.
You're
true.
you're either
I
playing
think-
WoW or you're taking a break from WoW.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's key.
that's the
isn't
case.
it?
Until those servers shut down, that's what I'm
Oh,
basically
don't.
saying
That'd
to
be a
myself.
sad. That'd be a
Like,
sad day.
it's a break.
And I think
God, maybe it will never happen, or maybe we'll just get WoW VR and we'll go and live in Elwyn Forest. Literally,
We'll
that's
just
what I
have,
want for my
like,
retirement.
I just
private
want to
servers and
live
stuff
long
like
enough. I want to live long enough till people go, God, do you remember Shadowlands? Wasn't that a good expansion? When that happens, I'm like, right, I'm off.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's, but we. There's a member of my community on Twitch that loves all of the expansions that nobody else enjoyed. Just every time we talk about, it, I'm like, I don't get it, but some people loved them.
Someone
Some
has to
people
love
loved it.
TBC. Someone has to do it.
Someone had to love it. But there
Yeah.
you go. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to stay on a little bit after we finish recording today, and maybe do some more shaman leveling if folks are
Yeah.
interested in that. I would invite you to do that, Nippers. But in terms of the podcast today, Nippers, tell us where we can find you all across the internet. 'Cause you've been an awesome guest, and I'm sure folks will want to
thanks.
track you down.
Oh, well, you can find me on Twitch at Nipperswow. I'm also on Twitter at Nipperswow1. Someone nicked.
We love
Why
it.
how did let someone take
Thieves.
Nipperswow?
Trust me, there's not 2,000 plus Neeks out there, but apparently.
I managed to get Instagram at Nipperswow as well. But mainly you can see me on Twitch, and Twitter is probably the best place to catch me. And just pop in, hang out. I love a lurker, so just if you just want to sit there and watch what I'm doing, that's cool. It's just a cozy place.
Love that. Thanks so much for being with us today. Neek, what's happening in your world this week? What are the things you want to tell us about what's going on the internet for you?
Well, I will be down at the Razor store tomorrow. Sure, if anybody wants to come down, they're doing a Dragonflight Warcraft day. I'll be there. Not in any official capacity.
Who else is going to be there, Neek? Is there going to be anybody else streaming?
There
from a
will be
booth
someone
that we
streaming
may
from
know?
booth. There'll be someone who is lurking in chat right now. It's the wonderful OK Mage. She will be there. And we'll just be hanging out.
Drop, are you?
There'll be a couple of us just enjoying ourselves while we're there. Really.
That sounds awesome.
And you're not gonna spend any money. There is a swag bag.
I am
by the
not
way,
spending
gang.
a single pound.
Right.
Promise.
How much do you want to bet on that?
What, when you come out, you can have fully decked out Razor gear.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Have a Razer headset. You can have a Razer keyboard, Razer mouse.
Razor everything.
Yeah.
Just not one on your face, eh? Like me.
Love
Nope.
it. I shaved it today. Look at Neek's resplendent beard. Neek's beard gets more exciting every week.
I
It's
trimmed it the other day.
weight to it.
It was a lot fluffier.
Oh, mine's just getting grayer.
I was saying the other day, I need to start.
This is
taking
why I've got bad
testosterone or
lighting, so
something,
you can't see the
grow some
grey.
hair.
Yeah.
Awesome. So to bring us to a close, you can find me, the Cat Fantastic, across the internet on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at the Cat Fantastic, YouTube as well. This glorious podcast will be live straight away as a VOD on my Twitch channel, which is where you are now. So you've seen it. If you want to see the start, go and check it out afterwards.
That was really
it'll
good.
also be the start was fantastic. We had the sound off for Nippers at the start, so
It was the best intro you've ever not heard.
It was exactly the best intro you've ever not heard. So you are all going to have to go to YouTube on the Here Be Dragons YouTube channel and check it out. Nightbot's been shouting about it in chat this whole time, so make sure you check that out. I am doing a massive charity event for Stonewall Housing. They are an LGBTIQA plus charity who support homeless folks or folks at risk of losing their home through lack of safety as they kind of come out as a queer identity or that are homeless and queer. So it's a really, really important charity to me. That is on February the 21st 25th. It'll be a 12-hour stream all day that Saturday. One of my fabulous streaming friends who we're going to announce next week, although I think a lot of people could have already guessed who it is, but we will be launching our brand new podcast that stream. We're going to be calling it Talking Shit, and we're going to be talking about all of the important issues that are going on in the world. Everything from clear your throat there in chat. Suspicious person we don't know. We'll be talking about everything from things like bi-erasure to period poverty, right through to trans identities and what's going on in that debate right now. All of that kind of content will be talked about in half an hour style episodes with mega editions running for an hour. And we're hoping to get some awesome guests on that over time as well. But we'll be starting off just us two recording live on the charity podcast. So thanks for listening, everybody. I'm going to stay on and probably do a couple of dungeons after this. So we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.